months I've been looking at going there. So here's hoping that's what we get. Gonna stop and get some gas because tomorrow here in New Zealand fuel goes up by about 29 cents a litre because government's had all the taxes taken off it for the last wee while for various reasons. Not a huge fan of driving in the dark on roads I don't know, in the rain and otherwise, but it looks like the rain stopped. Just stopped and got some supplies in Masterton, so it's about an hour of roads I don't know. So let's get into it. So, I've arrived, but in my usual fashion, I've not booked anything. Or I have booked things, but very, very late. So I'm just waiting for them to come down to the office. That is pretty spectacular, and I think that makes it okay to stay in a campground. I was a little bit apprehensive about the trip in general, as I usually am, but I've wanted to come here for a long time. So, because the view is so good, I'm choosing to cook here. I'm making use of the table that we made when we modified the spare wheel carrier. So there's a video on that, which I'll leave a link in the description. So it's morning, and beautiful sunrise right on the beach at Castle Point. It's exactly what I'm hoping for. So, brief little bit of rain before. It's supposed to be no rain today, so I'm for a really good day of who knows what. So time to make a coffee, have some breakfast, and watch the sunrise. From here is go and have a look at the lighthouse once it warms up a little bit, and then there's another walk that I want to do to a cove a bit further that way or that way, and then no plans, just sitting and enjoying it. Well, it's been about 12 to 18 months in the planning and looking to come here, and always keeping an eye on the weather and going where the weather's good. Pretty happy that patience paid off. There's not a breath of wind this morning. Headed to Deliverance Cove, which is the site of the first European landing on the North Island in 1843. Actually a result of not being able to get into Cook Strait. There's a bit of an eddy that forms where the East Coast current meets the Cook Strait current. Cook Strait is a notorious little stretch of water between the North and South Islands in New Zealand, and as a result they sort of got shunted into this beautiful little cove. So I'm incredibly fortunate to have struck Castle Point when it's the off-season and incredible weather, because you can already see that it gets pretty busy. There's people on the track behind me, plenty of people on the beach. Pretty stoked with the moments that I've chosen. There's a bit of apprehension, usual bit of anxiety on Friday night, heading away after a week of life, but the rewards are absolutely worth it and reinforce again that motivation, just that consistency, the momentum on getting out, whatever it may be, and just doing it well. The buzz from doing it last time was there, be it getting away for the weekend, getting up for a walk around the block, just getting out and doing it. It's so easy to just rush off and go and look at the next thing on trips like this, but man, I certainly struggle with sitting still, but there's something to be said about just this spot that is so peaceful. Down in the middle of the screen where the rip is a shingle fan, which is reasonably common along this coast, where the rock slowly breaks away in a valley and gets washed out onto the beach. And some of them can be massive and almost impassable, especially after storms. There's some on the coast road near Corner Creek. This one's quite a small one. It just stood out because the rest of the beach is pristine, beautiful white sand, and then near that little valley is a lot of shingle. Someone might be able to explain better why it happens, but basically the water runs down the valley and the rock slowly breaks up into shingle and gets washed down the river and gets washed down the valley in heavy rainfall. One thing I'm amazed by is the number of dead fish on the beach and a massive dead eel. It's all look like they're seagull food, but never seen that before, so I wonder if they've been washed in by the storm. Where there's people, there's rubbish. Didn't actually intend on doing a beach cleanup, but I find too much shit to ignore. Can't really leave it there, but it ended up detracting from me enjoying the view because I got fixated on picking up rubbish. But thankfully now I've at least got the bin bag to put it all in, which makes it easy. If you've seen Can't Dampen Our Spirits, this might seem all very familiar. Back off up a track that I've already done in search of something that I lost, but this wasn't quite as silly as my sunglasses. I think I've knocked the lens cover off my camera. I think I know where I did it. well, I got another lens cover in my camera bag because we lost one into the sea on road trip 2.0 when the tide came in while we were having our fire, while we were having our dinner at Tunnel Beach. I don't particularly want to be donating lens caps to Mother Nature if I can help it. So apparently that's a no. Didn't lose it where I thought I did, or someone else just picked it up and it wasn't the people behind me. Come down to the Matai-Kona rocks, which are sandstone formations. So I'm here on what I think is close to high tide. So obviously they'll be easier to see on a low tide. It'll be significantly more of them. I had no idea that those were here. A little bit like Deliverance Cove, but I've only found these in the last hour. You could all zoom in on Google Maps and see what's nearby, what's of interest, and just explore your hood wherever your hood might be at the time. Back on the road, and that was my East Coast sunrise off my list. So going for a wander into Riwanui Forest Park. It's one of the two places I want to look at. The other one is closed. I'm not sure why. I did read that somewhere briefly online as well. No idea what's here, but some of the reviews are positive. Some short walks from an hour to 2 hours, multiple options apparently. No maps, and none of the tracks appear on my topo maps either. It's all just follow the orange triangles if I can get in the gate. Not surprised by the track closure due to damage. We've had a massive amount of rain in this area. And there seems to be distant bird song in the forest, which that's the part of it that's closed. So I'm just bordering the forest at the moment. I'm not actually sure what the bird is, but I might have a go at identifying it later. Well, that gave me a hell of a fright. Here's something coming up behind me. There's a couple of, I believe, must be hunting dogs. No one anywhere to be seen, but they're nice and friendly. So there's an abundance of waka fantail in here, which seemingly follow you around. So replanting of rata and a few other native trees in here. There's a lot of small trees being planted and a lot of trapping going on. So long term, this could definitely be a place that increases in bird life and obviously native trees, which is pretty cool. Winter's definitely on its way. Light dusting of snow on the ranges in the distance. I believe that concludes this adventure and this episode, but it has left me with plenty of inspiration for future adventures and for life in general, so that's job well done. There are a few more things coming up in the future that are planned already, so